The acting president of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, led a ceremony to promote and decorate patriotic soldiers and citizens who gave their lives in defense of national sovereignty in the military attack on Saturday, January 3rd. At the eclectic monument of the Military Academy of the Bolivarian National Guard, the acting president of the Republic declared that the response to the aggression will not be revenge, but Bolivarian diplomacy of peace. The official also denounced the kidnapping of President Nicolás Maduro and pledged not to rest until his release. The event also paid tribute to 32 combatants from Cuba who lost their lives in Venezuelan territory, with the presence of a high-level delegation from the island. With this activity, the Venezuelan state ratifies that their sacrifice is the foundation of the dignity of the homeland.
Si algo digo yo,
if there is one thing I can say that is not revenge but rather vindication, it will be when we give a lesson and example of what Bolivarian diplomacy for peace in international action is all about.
de paz en acción internacional. Que sea nuestra diplomacia bolivariana en lecciones que dejó nuestro padre libertador.
Let it be our Bolivarian diplomacy in the lessons left by our liberator father, hero of this homeland, hero of the greater homeland, who left a doctrine on human rights, who left universal lessons and legacies in humanitarian law of war.
Universales en el derecho humanitario de guerra, quien dejó doctrina militar para nuestro ejército libertador. Nunca.
Who left military doctrine for our liberating army. Our liberator father never thought our men and women in arms to be warmongers, nor to use supremacy to humiliate anyone.
Moreover, acting President Rodriguez announced the creation of a commission for the families of the fallen and assured them of the state's ongoing support.
A nuestros caídos.
For our fallen heroes, I have instructed the creation of a commission of relatives and victims of our heroes, heroines, and martyrs. You are not alone. Venezuela will be with you. You are not alone. We will continue to accompany you on your journey.
And Cuba's President Miguel Díaz-Canel also expressed his solidarity with the Venezuelan people and honored the heroes and heroines who fell in combat. Through his social media accounts, the Cuban leader stated, "We share with the people and government of Venezuela the pain of seeing our brothers and sisters killed by the imperialist invader. Our deepest condolences and solidarity at this sad time. We will not cease to denounce this criminal act." During the ceremony, Cuban Foreign Minister Bruno Rodriguez highlighted once again the values of the friendship bonds between Cuba and Venezuela.
We make the commitment that together we will fight and we will prevail. The revolution, the Bolivarian and Chavista revolution and the Cuban revolution in their destiny and in their common fight will be examples for the liberation of the peoples of our America. We will continue on our work in defense of peace, in the mobilization of the world, in the campaign in defense of international law and of the right to life and to peace of the peoples, and for the liberation of the constitutional president Nicolás Maduro Moros and the companion Celia Flores, and we will go together in the common history of our peoples, knowing that the only destiny will be victory. To victory forever we will prevail.
Venezuela's acting president, Delcy Rodriguez, led Thursday a delegation to oversee the inauguration of projects with high social impact in various entities across the country. The visits were coordinated by the Vice Presidency for Public Works and Services and sought to consolidate essential services and strengthen public infrastructure for the well-being of Venezuelans as part of the government project called Obraton. The event had the active participation of the Ministers of Water Management, transportation and habitat and housing, together with the governors of each entity who have supervised the implementation of these structural solutions. With these actions, the Venezuelan government reaffirms its commitment to efficiency in public services and the comprehensive development of the country. And in Venezuela, the president of the National Assembly, Jorge Rodriguez, made a statement to the country and announced the release of a large group of Venezuelan and foreign citizens. Rodriguez affirmed that this unilateral gesture is intended to reinforce the decision to consolidate peace and sovereignty in the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. In Jorge Rodriguez took the opportunity to thank those who have supported the people of Venezuela in their mission to defend their right to self-determination and independence, especially after the U.S. attacks against Venezuela and kidnapping of President Nicolás Maduro and first combatant Cilia Flores. Latin American leaders also held a video conference to condemn the kidnapping of President Nicolás Maduro and first combatant Cilia Flores and the U.S. military aggression against Venezuela. The virtual meeting was convened from Caracas with the aim of reaffirming support for the people of Venezuela and respect for international law. The meeting seeks to articulate an international condemnation for the release of President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, the first combatant Cilia Flores. In addition, the initiative also seeks to consolidate national sovereignty, the Bolivarian Revolution, and peace for the Venezuelan people. During his address, Venezuelan Foreign Minister Iván Gil called to respect international law to safeguard global security.
No se trata solo de un tema.
This is not just a personal issue regarding our president and his wife, Congresswoman Cilia Flores. It is that we are obliged to defend and enforce international law.
Cilia Flores. Se trata que nosotros estamos obligados.
Because today they are not applying it to us, but tomorrow it could be anyone. We cannot allow the world to enter into a state of political defenselessness.
A nosotros, pero mañana podrá ser cualquiera. No podemos dejar que el mundo entre en un estado de indefensión.
Where the law of the strongest prevails, and we're sure that President Nicolás Maduro and Comrade Cilia Flores will be the symbol of that victory.
Maduro y la compañera Cilia Flores serán el símbolo de esa victoria.
The victory of legality, the victory of the peoples of the world, but that will not happen on its own.
And on Thursday night, Diosdado Cabello, the Venezuelan Minister of Interior, Justice and Peace, toured Caracas, the capital of the Bolivarian nation, and confirmed that the city, like the rest of the country, remains at peace.
Hoy es 8 de enero del año 2026.
Good evening. Today is January 8, 2026. It is 10:58 p.m. according to this clock. We are gathered here, the various states' security agencies, the police, the guard, our colleagues from the DGCIN and the SEBIN. We are all here by chance in the square Plaza Oreali, first to inform the world that Venezuela is at peace. Venezuelans have been slowly recovering from the attack by the United States against our people and the peace of our country, which ended with the kidnapping of our brother President Nicolás Maduro and our comrade first combatant Cilia Flores. Venezuela is at peace, and one of the fundamental reasons that Venezuela is at peace and that peace is guaranteed is that the Venezuelan state has a monopoly on weapons.
The Chinese Foreign Ministry reaffirmed that Beijing will continue to support Venezuela in defending its sovereignty and national security. Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson Mao Ning assured that Beijing has maintained strong communication and cooperation with Caracas to deepen practical cooperation and promote joint development. She also condemned the United States intervention against Venezuela and demanded the immediate release of President Nicolás Maduro and his wife, the First Lady Cilia Flores. Mao Ning also indicated that Venezuela is a sovereign state that continuously exercises full sovereignty over its natural resources and economic activity as a whole. Hello, join us as we are offering at this moment a last-minute information that comes from Venezuela and is regarding a statement that has been released by the Bolivarian government at this hour. The Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela and its government reiterates its denunciation at an international level that it has been a victim of a criminal aggression, illegitimate and illegal aggression against its territory and its people, an action that has left over 100 deaths of civilians, of military soldiers as well, that in defense of the homeland were murdered in flagrant violation of international law. As it is known, in the framework of this aggression, there was also the kidnapping, the illegal kidnapping of the constitutional president of the Republic, Nicolás Maduro Moros, and also First Lady Cilia Flores, an act that constitutes a grave violation to the immunity of the personal immunity of chiefs of government and also the fundamental principles of the international judicial order. In the effects to attend this situation in the framework of the international law and also in strict alliance with the principles of sovereignty, of national sovereignty, and also of the Bolivarian to initiate a process, an exploratory process of diplomatic character with the government of the United States of America, oriented to reestablish the missions, the diplomatic missions in both countries, with the purpose of assessing the consequences that derived from this aggression and the kidnapping of President Nicolás Maduro and First Lady Cilia Flores, likewise to perform an agenda, to work on an agenda of mutual interest. In this context as well, there is a delegation of diplomatic bodies from the Department of State of the United States that will assess also evaluations, technical evaluations and logistic evaluations that have to do with the diplomatic function itself. Likewise, a delegation from Venezuelan diplomats will be sent to the United States to fulfill as well the corresponding duties. Likewise, as it has been reiterated by the acting president Delcy Rodriguez, Venezuela will face this aggression in a legitimate way to defend the sovereignty and also the reestablishment of the international law, as well the preservation of peace. Last minute information: in the face of the aggression of the United States against Venezuela on January 3rd, the government of Venezuela released just a moment ago a statement announcing that it will begin an exploratory process that aims to reopen the diplomatic missions of the United States and also Venezuela to address the consequences of such a criminal action against the territorial integrity of Venezuela and against the sovereignty of Venezuela. Also, there are diplomatic bodies, diplomatic officials that are going to start to arrive in both countries in matters of performing this action of opening the diplomatic missions in both territories. This is all for the moment. Stay tuned with teleSUR English for more information on this topic. And now we go live to Mexico, where President Claudia Sheinbaum is offering statements. Let's listen.
Con ellos para que conozcan lo que hemos hecho, la cartilla de las mujeres y el trabajo que estamos desarrollando.
And the work that we are developing.
Gracias. En ese sentido,
Thank you. In that sense, President, you were mentioning to President Donald Trump. What's your opinion about his statements, yesterday's statement, and without any detail? He thinks that he's going to attack the cartels. We're going to narrow the communication. That's why I was asking Secretary Juan Ramón de la Fuente that he can see with the State Secretary of the Department. 3 days ago, Rubio was speaking about the good coordination in security matters. Here we have the group of work we have joined, and we have to narrow this information that we are given according to the amount of labs that we have destroyed, so that he have all the information in the framework that we are doing to coordinate. Thank you. Finally, I would like to ask your opinion. The wages are heightened for the Mexican families, and ask you, is Mexico came to the third yes? There is a graphic over there. Look.
Estábamos en el sexto
We
lugar
were in
en
the
el
6th place
2025.
in 2025.
Hoy somos
Today
el
we are
tercer
the third
país
country
con el nivel más alto
with the
de
highest
salario
level
mínimo
of
en toda
minimum
América
wage in
Latina
all
y el
Latin
Caribe.
America and the Caribbean.
Es un número muy importante.
That is a very
Llegó
important
un
number.
momento
And
en el periodo
there was a
neoliberal
moment in the
que en México el
neoliberal
salario
period
mínimo
that
de
the
México
minimum
era
wage
el
in
menor,
Mexico was
incluso
the
por abajo
lowest,
de Haití,
even
que es
lower
un
than
país,
Haiti.
pues quizá el país
That
con
is maybe
mayores carencias económicas
the
del
country with
continente,
a
incluido, pues,
more
todos los problemas
lack
de
of food in
violencia y
the
seguridad que
world.
tiene. Y hoy estamos
And today we
después
are
de Uruguay y Chile,
behind Uruguay and
por
Chile,
encima de todos los demás
above
países.
all the rest of the country.
Gracias, presidente.
That's all,
Bueno,
President.
vamos ahora de nuevo a Guerrero.
Now let's
Vamos
go
con la
back
compañera.
to Guerrero
Vamos,
again.
si quiere.
Come over here if you want.
Muy buenos días, Presidenta, Gobernadora y a todo
Good
el
morning,
gabinete
President,
presente.
Governor, and all the
Marta
cabinet
Casas, Informe
President.
24, Guerrero. Presidenta, a pesar de los trabajos
President, in
anunciados
spite
por
of
Fonatur
the
aquí en el
works
puerto de
announced
Acapulco,
by
pues no se
Donatur
observa
in
un
Acapulco
avance
Port,
del
we
fondo-
haven't
del
seen
fondo
any
en la
advance
reconstrucción.
in the front of
Persisten
the
los problemas
building.
como fugas,
There are
desabasto de agua,
there are
semáforos
problems
descompuestos
like
y baches en la
water,
costera, mientras que lo más visible pues han sido los
traffic,
trabajos en las jardineras
traffic
y
lights,
camellones no del
gardens,
todo realizados de una manera total.
and camelons not done just in a
Pues yo
total
estuve
way.
aquí ahora de vacaciones, 3 días.
Precisamente eso.
I have been 3 days of vacation.
Desde Acapulco Diamantes, ¿no?
Sí.
Hasta Caleta. Y se ve
We were live at this hour to Mexico, witnessing Claudia Sheinbaum's morning press conference in which she made a call for the country to remain in a dialogue, in a respectful dialogue with the United States in the face of the threats that Donald Trump has made against Mexico regarding its alleged war on drugs. This was her call at this moment. And after we go live once more to Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, the president, is offering her morning press conference. Let's listen.
se mantenga ese acuerdo y depende también del trabajo conjunto,
We have an
o sea,
agreement.
de la coordinación y los resultados.
It depends on the coordination results.
No queremos pensar en
And we don't
otro
want to
escenario.
think about
Más bien
another
queremos
scenario.
seguir trabajando en ese
We want to
escenario
keep on
para
working
que
on this
la
scenario
coordinación se
so that
estreche todavía
coordination
más
could
en el
be
marco
tightening
de
everything
la
more
defensa
in
de
the
nuestras
framework
soberanías
of
de
defending
ambos
our sovereignty,
y
both
de
of
la
us,
integridad territorial de
and
México.
the
Gracias.
territorial integrity.
En días pasados, pues, se
Some days
detiene
ago,
a Eduardo N., operador
and
de
Eduardo
García
N.
Luna,
was
contaba con,
detained.
pues, contratos millonarios
He
con los
counted with
presos.
millionary contracts.
Esta detención se dio
This arrest
después de muchos
was
años
after many
le dieron
years
un golpe fuerte también al equipo de
where there
Genaro
was
Luna.
a
No sé si tenga más
big
datos sobre
beat
esta
against his
detención
team.
del secretario de
Do
Seguridad.
you have any
Pues
other
es un
information?
trabajo más bien que está haciendo la Fiscalía
It is
General de la
It is
República.
a word that
No sé
is
si
done
tienes
the
tú
General
más
Prosecutor of the Republic.
sobre este tema. Es un trabajo que hace la
It is
Fiscalía
work
General
that
de
the
la República. Son órdenes de aprehensión que ya
General
existían,
Attorney is doing,
pero que no se
but
habían llevado a cabo.
they have not done
¿Qué
that
quiere decir una
before.
orden de aprehensión? Que se
They
hace la
have an order
investigación
of
por
arrest,
parte de la
the
Fiscalía,
investigation
se
on the
lleva a un
side
juez,
of
el juez
the
reconoce las pruebas,
prosecutor, the
da
judge see
dicta la orden
the
de
proof
aprehensión
and
y la
order
Fiscalía no
the
las había
arrest,
llevado a cabo.
and the
Entonces,
prosecutor
ahora,
hasn't taken
con el
them
arresto
carry
de
out.
hoy, pues están
But today
revisando
they are
en
checking,
este caso
in this case,
de cero impunidad a la corrupción,
to be
como en
the
el caso
corruption
de cero
impunity,
impunidad a los
to
delitos
be
de
a
alto
case
impacto
of
que
impunity of
corresponden
high
al
impact
fuero federal.
crimes that correspond to
Muchas de
the
las órdenes de
federal.
aprehensión que no habían sido
Not
ejecutadas,
too many of the
ahora la
orders
Fiscalía
that were not done. They
Y
are
es muy
doing it right now.
importante
And this is
porque,
very
como lo expliqué
important because
ayer,
I
son
explained
contratos
yesterday.
que
They are contracts
de empresas de García
of
Luna que
enterprise
hizo
of
después
Garcia
de haber
Luna
sido
that he did
secretario,
after
que
being
se hicieron con
the
el
secretary.
gobierno federal.
He was doing that with the federal government.
Millonarios esos
Sí.
contratos y que
Those millionaires
realmente
contracts
Bueno, contratos que nunca se
Contracts that
ejecutaron,
were
que
never
tienen
done,
muchísimas
that
observaciones.
have many observations.
Presidente, en días
President,
pasados le he cuestionado sobre los
some years I
avances
have
de los
questions
casos,
about the
en
advances
particularmente
in
de
this
Valeria
particular
Márquez, la influencer que fue asesinada
Valeria
en
Marquez,
Jalisco
who was
de una manera muy
murdered
violenta en ese
in a very
feminicidio,
violent
y
way.
también le había
And
cuestionado
also,
sobre
it was
los
questioned
colaboradores que
the
tienen,
collaborators
del gobierno de la Ciudad de México.
that you have in the
¿Qué
government
avances
of
tienen? Si
Medical
podría
City.
decir
What
el
advances do you
secretario
have? If you can say
republicano,
something.
Con permiso.
Excuse
En
me.
el caso
in the case.
We were live at this hour to Mexico, witnessing statements from the President Claudia Sheinbaum during her morning press conference. She was referring to the call that Mexico was doing in remaining in the path of dialogue with the United States in the context as well of the threats, the military threats imposed on the nation by President Donald Trump regarding its alleged war on drugs. And the acting president of Venezuela,